Hello and welcome back. Okay, are you ready? Now it's just you and me. It's a private class, so let's get started. Question, let me ask you a question. When was the last time you won an archery contest? You don't understand? Okay, let me repeat the question. Let me repeat. When was the last time you won an archery contest? You still don't understand? Okay. When was the last time? Eso es fácil. ¿Cuándo fue la última vez? When was the last time you won? Claro, ganaste. Win, won, won. Win, won, won. El pasado de won, o el participio en este caso, ganado. ¿Cuándo fue la última vez que ganaste o que has ganado? When was the last time you won? Se pronuncia igual que el número uno. Won. Yo gané uno sería I won one. All right. No, repeat. When was the last time you won an archery contest? You still don't understand. Okay, archery and contest. Contest es un concurso, pero no un concurso televisivo, pero un concurso de competición. When was the last time you won an archery? Archery is arco y tiro con arco. Creo que tiro. Yeah, you say tiro con arco in Spanish, right? Archery is a sport. It's an Olympic sport. In fact, in the Olympics, you have archery as an event in itself. Por cierto, evento, acontecimiento, también es prueba deportiva. Ojo, the 100 meters is an event. It's a swimming event in natación y en atletismo, and in track and field, event. Now, archery, tiro con arco, is an event in the Olympics. And also, it's one of the 5 events, I think, in the pentathlon of those 5 events. It includes archery. And when you're with archery, you have arrows in a container behind you. You pull out the arrow. You hold the bow, el arco, bow. You string the arrow. You pull, extend if you're right-handed, you extend the bow. Keep your arms straight. Aim, que es apuntar. You aim at the target and you liberas o sueltas. La cuerdita está ahí en la flecha. You release, escrito release. You release the string and the arrow travels toward, o con ese, también vale, towards the target. The target is el blanco. Now the target has different circles, okay? And in the middle is what you call in Spanish la diana. It goes in the middle, it's Diana, okay? Because Diana, or Diana, is the name, the Roman name of a goddess. The goddess of hunting and hunters is Diana, all right? And it's Diana la diosa de los cazadores, and she used a bow and arrow to hunt, okay? Diana. What was her name in Greek mythology? Do you know? Think about it at the end of the class. All right, and you shoot your arrow at the target. Si trabajáis en empresas, muchas veces se dice target. Nuestro objetivo para este trimestre, our target. Y por favor, la G es dura. Target. No se dice target. Si dices target, ya estás pregonando los 4 vientos tu falta de inglés. Cuidado con esta palabra. Se usa mucho en el mundo de los negocios y no lo uses mal. Okay, target. Como el verbo to get. Es una G dura, get. To get up, target, okay? And at the end, maybe 50 meters away is the target. And you have circles, and in the middle is la diana. In English, we say ojo de toro, bull's eye, bam. And if you're good with a bow and arrow, archery, in an archery contest, and you shoot, bullseye. Second arrow, bullseye. Third arrow, bullseye. That's my job as an English teacher, bullseye. And the most important part of the target. There are many circles in the English teaching and English learning target. And I can hit other parts of the target. Irregular verbs, auxiliary verbs, phrasal verbs, muchos verbs aquí, adjectives, adverbs, conjunctions, nouns, verbs, etc. But the bullseye is only one letter in bullseye, la letra M. And that M stands for, ¿qué significa esa M en el blanco y la diana del aprendizaje del inglés que un profesor tiene que conseguir clavar? Esa M stands for motivation. Because I can teach you verbs, adjectives, adverbs, conjunctions, etc. But you will not learn if you are not motivated. So the most important target for me is right in the middle. The bullseye is motivation. Your motivation. So, question. When did you last win? ¿Cuándo ganaste por vez última? When did you last win an archery contest? Me, I've never won an archery contest. Have you ever won an archery contest? When did you last win? I've never won. Okay. An archery contest. Next question. When was the last time you wrote a letter to my sister? Come on. When was the last time you wrote a letter to my sister? You've never written. Eso. Si habéis dicho written, premio. Okay, pero con doble T en medio, ¿verdad? Have you ever written a letter to my sister? No, I've never written a letter to your sister. When was the last time you wrote a letter to Santa Claus? I've never written a letter to Santa Claus. Really, I haven't. I've never written a letter to the three kings either. Have you ever written? Have you ever written a letter to the three kings, los tres reyes magos? Gaspar, Melchor, and Balthazar, con TH en medio, Balthazar. You've never written a letter to them either. When was the last time you wrote a letter to the President of Spain? When was the last time you wrote the letter to the chairman of a company? It works, often. I remember many years ago, I remember precisely, 1984, 23 or 24 years ago, I had a car. And it was 1985. I remember now. I had a car, so it's 23 years ago. I had a car, and the car was insured through a very important, very well-known insurance company in Spain. Multi-group insurance. You had car insurance, health insurance, life insurance, many different types of todos ramos de seguro. Every type of insurance. And this company is famous. It's a very big company in Spain, very famous. Very good company, really. It's a very good company. And I had my car insurance policy, and apparently they made a computer mistake. And every year they charged, era un cargo anual, no semestral ni trimestral. It was every year they charged my car insurance to the wrong account that didn't belong to me in the bank. All right? They debited my account. And so another person had a problem, and me, I didn't pay. And 1 month later, I received a notification warning me, avisándome, advirtiéndome, warning me. Warning es avisar, pero cuando malas consecuencias pueden pasar si no sigues el aviso. Warning me that I was going to lose my car insurance. And of course, and so I went. And they saw the mistake, I showed the mistake, and they said, okay, no problem. The following year, the same. They made the same mistake. Because apparently, they took the changes, but they didn't actually register the changes. Actually, aquí significa en realidad. They didn't actually perform the changes. So the following year, the same problem. And the third year, the same problem. Finally, I wrote a letter. A very nice letter, very courteous and polite letter to the chairman, all right, of the company, saying that I respected their company very much and that I didn't want to change to a different car company, but that I was forced, me veía obligado, se dice en inglés forzado, that I was forced to do this if it couldn't be solved quickly. And in a question of 4 or 5 days, I received a letter from the chairman, el presidente de la compañía, la más grande de España, saying he was sorry for what happened and that they were issuing a new car policy. Issue is emitir una nueva póliza. No modificar un dato en la póliza anterior por error. They will issue me a new policy. So if you write a letter to the chairman of the company, very short, to the point, to the point, to the point, to the point, al grano, corto, al grano, sin mucho rodeo, to the point, short and to the point, concise, and very polite. Normally, you will receive a reply, and action will be taken in your favor, okay? So, question, when did you last write a letter to the President of Spain? Well, in the case of the President of Spain, I've never written a letter to the President of Spain. Never. I've never written a letter to the President of Spain. Probably he wouldn't read it if I wrote him a letter. Next question, when did you last write a report on the influence of gypsies on the Mexican economy? I've never written a report on the influence of gypsies on the Mexican economy. In fact, I have no idea. I have no idea. No tengo ni idea. I have no idea. Siempre con no idea. No solemos decir, no decimos nunca en inglés, I don't have any idea. Okay? Ahora, si digo no tengo harina en casa, suelo decir I don't have any flour at home. No tengo dinero en el banco. I don't have any money in the bank. Es correcto decir I have no money. I have no money in the bank. Pero es más corriente negar primero con any. I don't have any money in the bank. Pero la palabra idea, la expresión ni idea, is I have no idea. Siempre lo decimos así. I have no idea how many gypsies there are in Mexico. I don't know if they have any influence on the Mexican economy or not. I have no idea. But I imagine there are some gypsies in Mexico, don't you? Are there any gypsies in Spain? Are there any gypsies in Romania? Are there any gypsies in Russia? What's the origin of the gypsies? It's an interesting race of people. There are different hypotheses on the origin of the gypsies. Some people say they are members of the 10 lost tribes, tribus perdidas del Israel, many, many years ago, 1,300 BC, before I think before they went to Egypt. And some of the tribes were lost. Some people say the gypsies are originally from the lost tribes of India. Some people say the gypsies are from India. Nobody really knows. But what's interesting is over so many centuries, 2,000 years, the gypsies have managed to stay together, and they haven't changed their way of life very much. Los gitanos. Gypsies, okay? And now my question is, are there any gypsies in Mexico? I don't really know. I have no idea. But I imagine, me imagino de que sí los hay, eh? I'm sure there are, okay? I remember my sister, when she was living in Washington State, okay, in Washington State. My sister lived for 3 years with her husband on a military base, on an Air Force base. Her husband wasn't an Air Force man, really. He was a dentist. But because the Air Force paid the high cost of his dental studies, because to become a dentist in the States, you need 8 years. 4 years of pre-dental and 4 years of dental school. So it takes a long time, and it's not cheap. It takes a lot of money and time to become a dentist in the United States. And some people simply can't afford it. Simplemente no pueden sufragar todo ese gasto. And so there are ways to get financing. And one way is just to speak to El Tío Sam, to speak to Uncle Sam. In the case of my brother-in-law, he spoke to the Air Force, and he said, and the Air Force offered to pay his 4 years at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia, to become a dentist. And so, on one condition, that for at least 3 years, after he finished dental school, he would be a dentist on an Air Force base, because the military bases need doctors and dentists working there full time. And so when my brother-in-law finished dental school, he and my sister were sent to Tacoma, Washington, to work on a military base there, an Air Force base. And you probably know the Air Force base. Yeah. Have you ever seen the movie An Officer and a Gentleman, Oficial y Caballero, with Richard Gere? That movie was filmed in the 1980s with Richard Gere, of course. I can't remember the name of the actress, famous actress. And that movie was filmed on the same Air Force base where my brother-in-law was working and my sister was living. Okay, now my sister is still today an interior decorator, decoradora de interiores, an interior designer, professional. She's a good professional. And at that time, she was working a bit in the world of decoration in Tacoma, Washington. Now, Tacoma, Washington is located about 1 hour south, una hora al sur. Fijaos como lo digo, es muy sencillo. Una hora sur, 1 hour south of Seattle, which means it's probably in the United States like Santiago de Compostela is in Spain, except that it's on the coast. Santiago is not on the coast, it's in the interior. Like Vigo or Pontevedra, it's on the coast, practically. And so it's in the northwest, like Vigo, Pontevedra, or Santiago are in Spain, in the northwest. And my sister was living there and working there in interior decoration, and she told me one time about her visit to a gypsy family in the outskirts of Tacoma, Washington, in las afueras de Tacoma. Now, if a gypsy family is living in Washington, I imagine a gypsy family, many gypsy families are living in Mexico. Gypsies are everywhere. Do you know any country where there aren't any gypsies? Not long ago, I saw a movie about Irish gypsies, gitanos irlandeses, living in the center of England. It was very strange, with Brad Pitt. Okay, and Brad Pitt played the role of an Irish gypsy. Okay. Also, if you read Cien Años de Soledad by Gabriel García Márquez, 100 Years of Solitude, there's a very important person in that book called Melquiades, and he's a gypsy. And he's living, for a period of time, he lives near Macondo, the famous mythical city, town in Colombia, which some people think is Aracataca, the hometown, the pueblo natal of García Márquez, Melquiades. So there are gypsies in Colombia, there are gypsies in Washington State, there are gypsies in England and Ireland. So there are gypsies everywhere. Okay? Now, this question is, when did you last write a report on the influence of gypsies on the Mexican economy? Well, personally, I've never written. Written. I've never written a report on the influence of gypsies on the Mexican economy. And to tell you the truth, I honestly don't think that the gypsies have much influence on the Mexican economy. Question, do the gypsies have much influence on the Spanish economy? How many gypsies are there in Spain? 100,000? 50,000? There are quite a few. 200,000? How many gypsies are there in Spain? Do they have an influence on the Spanish economy? I imagine they have, but it's minuscule, minúscula, como se dice minuscule, a very small influence on the Spanish economy, the gypsies. So, I honestly doubt that the gypsies have a strong influence on the Mexican economy. And I don't even think they have a strong influence on the Spanish economy. On the Romanian economy? Who knows? Romania. What's the capital of Romania? What's the capital of Romania? You don't know. The capital of Romania is Bucharest. Is Bucharest an important city? Well, it's the capital of an important country. Romania just joined the European Union. It's a new member of the European Union. Now, Romania, I think, is the country with the highest proportion of gypsies. The Roma people are gypsies, and there are a lot in Romania. Maybe the gypsy community in Romania has a certain degree, cierto grado de influencia. Maybe the gypsy community has a certain degree of influence on the Romanian economy, but I really don't know. Okay, let's go on. Next one. Now, when did you last start work before 5 a.m.? I've never started work before 5 a.m., never. I can't remember. You know, one time, maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I couldn't sleep. I remember. Something happened. I went to bed, and a noise or something woke me up after 20 minutes, and I woke up completely awake. I tried to go back to sleep, volver a dormir, to go back to sleep, but I couldn't. And I had a lot of work, I remember. And so around 4 o'clock in the morning, I said, ya está bien. I said, enough is enough. And I got up, brushed my teeth, shaved, took a shower, got dressed, left. I went to my office and I started working around 5 o'clock in the morning. Okay? That's the only time I remember in which I started work before 5 o'clock or around 5 o'clock in the morning. Next one. When was the last time you blew up a bridge? When was the last time you blew up a bridge? Have you ever blown up a bridge? When was the last time you blew up a bridge? Pues seguramente me vas a decir, I've never blown up a bridge. Pero dime lo que significa, Richard. Okay, to blow is soplar. To blow. Sopla el viento, the wind blows. Recordaréis a Bob Dylan. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. All right, so to blow is soplar. Ahora, si hay una vela, we blow out the candle. You blow out the flame, la llama. You blow it out. If you strike a match, you blow out the match. Okay, también un reventón de rueda es a blowout. Eso ya es un sustantivo, no es un verbo. Ayer sufrí un reventón. Yesterday I suffered a blowout. Very dangerous. So that's the blowout. Now to blow up, literalmente, no es soplar arriba. It's correct to blow up. But blow up has two very important meanings. Es inflar. You blow up a balloon, and if you blow it up too much, boom, it pops or explodes, okay? To blow up. Also, if you have a needle or a pin is un alfiler, bam, you can explode the balloon. But first, in order to explode a balloon, first you need to blow it up. All right, now a blow up also is una ampliación de foto. If you remember the movie with David Hemming and Vanessa Redgrave, and the director was Antonioni, very famous Italian director. The name of the movie was Blow Up. And it's an interesting story, intriguing story of a photographer who goes to a park and he's taking photos of the park. He goes back to his photographic studio and develops the photos. To develop, en este caso no es desarrollar las fotos, es revelarlos en su cuarto oscuro. In the dark room, he develops the photos. And he's looking at the photos, and in one photo, he sees something strange, very, very, very small. In the park, there are open areas and there are forest areas with a lot of trees. And in one open area in the forest, he sees something. So he blows up the photograph to make it bigger. And he sees something, but he's not sure. He blows it up even more until only this big, only that one little section of the beginning of the forest, and he sees a man killing another man. He sees a crime in action. Okay? On that photograph, blowing it up 100 times. And he has a dilemma. Because a photographer, he's living in a photographic world, in a dream world. And suddenly, he is transported into crude reality, murder. That's blow up. Pero la pregunta aquí era otra y no tengo tiempo de desarrollarla. It was, when was the last time you blew up a bridge? Porque blow up también es volar, de hacer explosionar. Boom, and you blow up a bridge. ¿Cuándo fue la última vez que volaste un puente? Pues nunca he volado un puente. I've never blown up a bridge. I could talk to you at least for 10 more minutes about blowing up bridges, but I don't have time. Maybe when I come back in 5 minutes. But usually when I come back after a break, I prefer to do something different and not to continue. I'll make that decision. I'll make that decision during the break, okay? See you in a few minutes. Don't go too far away.